Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you all having a good Saturday night. I am. I've been listening to a couple records and drinking a few, and been doing a kind of a flashback to my youth and listening to some old records that I haven't listened to in a while. And I decided just to show those. I left them out. Some of them I haven't listened to. I'm probably gonna listen to later. I just pulled them out just to show with this whole stuff. A lot of these are albums I actually had bought back in the 80s and early 90s, I think. And a lot of them are first pressing, so this will be interesting. The second thing to this is, you've seen on the thumbnail, it's probably not music that most of my viewers typically enjoy, so that's where I'm at with that. This is basically guilty pleasures of an extreme metalhead. And back then, there's several of us, like George's Room of Rock. He shows a lot of this stuff. Mr. Boulder, he shows a lot of this stuff. Kim, I've seen shown some glam metal here and there. And there's several others. If I forgot your name, forgive me. But anyway, back to this. I just think this is going to be fun. I really wanted to talk about these albums. Probably going to talk about where I heard them, or when I heard them first, what they remind me of. A lot of these remind me of old friends, or certain summer nights, or ex-girlfriends, or cruising Main Street and that type of stuff. So I think that'll be great. It'll be a great video. I hope you guys all enjoy this. So I'm gonna get on with it and quit rambling. In the background, we're gonna be listening to some Exciter. Yeah, Exciter is one of those bands I listened to back in the day. Actually, this cassette right here is my favorite Exciter album. So this is not only going to be glam metal or sleaze metal, it's going to have some heavy metal straight up. And that's what I should have done on my favorite glam metal video I did a couple, maybe it was last month, I think. I did show some heavy metal on that ranking, but a lot of those heavy metal albums were getting played on the radio at the same time the glam metal was. So I've always linked those albums together, just like these right here. So I think this will be a great video, like I said a minute ago. But first one up is going to be Kiss Animalize. 1984 is when this was released, and in 1984 I was in 4th grade, and me and my buddy would walk home from school, and what we'd normally do was either play Atari, if anybody remembers that, or watch He-Man or Scooby-Doo or whatever. But his sister was a little bit older than us, and I want to say she would probably be 13 or 14, and she was playing this album right here on the, she had a boombox and it was a cassette. And I remember me and my buddy would be like jumping off the porch and going crazy in the yard to songs like I've Had Enough, Into the Fire. One of my favorite Kiss songs all time. And to be honest with you, this is my favorite Kiss album other than Love Gun. I really love that one too. Another great track on this is Thrills in the Night. Absolutely amazing track. Paul Stanley's vocals in this are freaking awesome. Gene Simmons, the Gene Simmons songs like Burn Bitch Burn, I think is one of them, is so good. I love that track. Under the Gun is another great track on this album. Heaven's on Fire, of course, has that kind of AC/DC vibe to it. And what I like a lot is the guitar work that, I think it's is it St. John that played guitar on this? Yeah, Mark St. John, he played guitar on this album, and I love his guitar work. It's real shreddy. Eric Carr's drumming in this is beastly. And in my opinion, this is the best 80s Kiss 80s album there was. I did like Lick It Up, which came out before this. I do like Asylum, that came out after this. But this is my favorite out of those three, because they all kind of continue off each other. If you're a Kiss fan, you know that. This is the first pressing on Mercury, and it's just an absolute freaking banger. The other day I did see the reissue at the record store, and I almost bought it because I always like to get the reissues so I can retire the OGs, but I got the Anthrax album instead. So that's where we are with that. But this is my first pressing. The album I bought, I think I bought this when I was a kid. My mom bought it for me actually, like 1985. I think I had it on cassette first, and then she bought this for me for my for Christmas. Fucking fantastic album. Here's the inner sleeve with the lyrics, pictures of the band, and then look at that old label. And this is Minty Fresh. Absolute banging album. Kiss Animalize. Fucking awesome. Yes. Look at the album art. Fucking awesome album. Another one from like 1986, I believe. I was in 6th grade when I bought this record right here. Of course, this is the OG press on Polydor. This is Yngwie Malmsteen's trilogy. Still to this day, the only Yngwie album I have. It's the only one I really care for, and it's mainly due to Mark Bowles. What is his name? Bowles. Vocals. His vocals on this fucking blow me away. Some of my favorite vocals of all time is on this record right here. And my favorite track on it is Dark Ages. And a little bit where I first heard this album was at my house. I bought this album strictly because the dragon. I love the artwork to this album. And then I played this album, and the guitar work in this just blew me away. And that's another thing I should bring up. A lot of people notice my bass playing, there's a lot of classical influence. And I do like Bach and Beethoven, all that kind of stuff like that. But it was for artists like Yngwie Malmsteen or Randy Rhoads or even Cliff Burton. He had a lot of Baroque style, bars that he put in his bass playing, especially on Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth. But back to this fucking album. This album right here is a masterpiece. Every track on this album freaking hits hard. It sounds so good. You don't remember, I'll never forget, can't even spit that out, and that's the Jack Daniels. But that song is amazing. Amazing. It's got kind of a glam side to it a little bit because of the lyrics, but it's more of a heavy metal and some speed metal there. Guitar solo is fucking amazing to it. Another one I love on this is Queen of Love. I love that freaking track. Mirror Mirror is another one. Of course, Dark Ages. That vocal line on that gets stuck in my head every time I hear it, and for days after it. It's just the greatest, one of the greatest songs, and it's really medieval sounding. And it's just a slow beat, and then the guitar solo comes on, and you're like, oh my god, just perfection. And then the instrumental on this Trilogy Suite Opus 5, probably one of the greatest instrumentals ever written, in my opinion. I think if I did a video where I talked about my favorite instrumentals, that one probably be number one. Number two would be the Call of Cthulhu by Metallica. So I'm a big fan of the instrumentals, especially if it's played right, and that one is played right. I like how they use that Deep Purple kind of influences, like Ritchie Blackmore type stuff, where he's playing guitar solos, and then the synth guy, whatever his name is, I don't know if he's playing a synth guitar or synth or keyboard, but he he plays his own solos and they trade back and forth. And then he plays this acoustic piece in there, and the bass work on this, I think Yngwie plays the bass work on this. It's off the charts, badass. But yeah, this is my OG press of it, still with the hype sticker. One of those albums that never freaking gets old. Of course, I have it in this, but here's the old sleeve with Yngwie himself and the lyrics on the sheet, and then on Polydor black. And a lot of these are black vinyl because I rarely had anything to do with colored vinyl back then. And as you can see, it's minty fucking fresh, and it sounds good. I think I get that minty fresh from damn, what's his channel? I just pulled a Simon. No offense, Simon. Was it BVD? A guy from Australia. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he says minty fresh a lot. So next one up, I just showed this in the other video, but I was lazy and I just showed the CD. That's how much this album, I love this fucking album. It's a glam metal album, but it has some heavy metal moments, especially on the song Lady of the Valley. And I love the 12-string acoustic guitars they have in it, and then that heavy speed metal sound it has there for a moment, and the guitar solo. Yeah, so Vito plays some badass guitar solos in this. I think it has a lot of, it kind of reminds me of Eddie Van Halen a little bit, but I like his touch a little bit better on the guitar strings. Mike Tramp's voice a little bit whiny, but still it fits what they're going for on this record right here. Of course, James Lamenzo, this guy right here, if you don't know, most of you probably do, but he plays bass in Megadeth now. So killer fucking album. Greg D'Angelo's a killer fucking drummer. And of course, like I said, Lady of the Valley is my favorite track. Wait, and I love When the Children Cry. It's a really good freaking song about, I want to say, child abuse or war or different things like that that may traumatize a child. And the guitar solo in that's so freaking beautiful and emotional. Love this freaking album. This is Atlantic Records first pressing, and here's the inner sleeve of the lyrics, and here you go, more minty freshness. Absolute fucking banger right here. So where I first heard this is actually Wait was on the radio, and it blew me away, and I went out and bought the freaking album the next day, and this is it right here. White Lion's Pride, fucking killer one. So, and I'm gonna show CDs. I will show CDs, but right now I'm just going through the wax. Another album from the 80s. I believe I think I want to say I was in 84, 85. Same sister that played the Animalized by Kiss played this record too. And this is Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance. And I want to say that was in 84 or 85 when I first heard it, but I know this album was released in 82. In 82 I would have been second grade and not even interested in freaking heavy metal. But anyway, back to this album. I remember she played this. She mainly played the hit track, You Got Another Thing Coming, which as a fourth grader was jumping off the porch and screaming, You Got Another Thing Coming. I fucking love that song. But my favorite tracks on this is Riding on the Wind. I fucking love that song. It takes me to what this thing is doing, Riding on the Wind. I know that sounds crazy. I love Bloodstone. The Helion Into Electric Eye is one of my favorite Judas Priest songs of all time. Devil's Child. No, you're the devil. I love that freaking track. I don't know if this is a first pressing or not. It's an old copy. It's the copy I bought back then. It's on Columbia Records. And as you can see, minty fresh. Fucking killer fucking album. I love this fucking album. And last night I did make a video showing my my record collection. I was going to show Judas Priest, but this phone only allows me to record an hour at a time, and I think I had so many different intros till I finally got the cut that you guys watched my last video, that it cut me down to about like 46 minutes of record time. So that video is 44 minutes, so I ran out of time and didn't show my Judas Priest collection, so that's what happened. Next up, so I'm a huge Metal Church fan. The Debut is my favorite Metal Church album. I've talked about this album maybe once or twice, but it takes me back. It takes me back. I want to say this was released in '85, I think. Is that right? I can't remember when this was released. Maybe their debut was '85. No, that one was '83. So this would have been, so it's '85. Let me look. I don't want to have this wrong. I can't see it. It doesn't matter. I heard this album when I was in 6th grade, and I remember we was trying to scare each other, and we thought this was evil. So we was listening to this record, me and my buddies, late one night, playing, I think we was playing Atari or something. We was playing some kind of video game. I just don't remember what. Yeah, it was Atari. We was playing that tank game they had. I can't remember what it was called. Maybe it was just called Tank. But anyway, we was playing this, and The Dark is my favorite track, the title track. And I just love this album. Ton of Bricks is another one. I'll hit you with a ton of bricks. Start the Fire. Love that song. Just so many good ones. I love the guitar work in this. This is an Electra pressing, first pressing. And as you can see, minty. Absolute banger right here. Metal Church, The Dark. And yeah, like I said, we jammed the shit out of this fucking album back in the day. Still do. I love this. I love the artwork with that creature in the dark there. Fucking album rules. And last one of the vinyl is my first press. Somebody tried telling me this is not a first press. I'm gonna make a correction. This is a first press. What he was talking about was the overseas press, which is an EP. And if you have that EP, it doesn't have this brick wall around it. Okay, so this is Cities. This is some speed metal. The drummer actually played in Twisted Sister, I believe. This album, to me, oh, forgive me, this one's called Annihilation Absolute by Cities. I think I've shown this album one time, and that's when somebody told me it wasn't a first pressing, but it is. It's just not the EP that he was talking about. The EP, like I said, has 6 songs, and this one has, I believe, 9. But what a banger right here. What a banger. It takes me back to the same kind of stuff. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade when I first heard this. And when I first heard it, I was like, man, it sounds like Iron Maiden. That's what I first thought when I first heard it. Absolute fucking banger. My favorite track on this is Fight for Your Life. I love that one. Not Alone in the Dark is another one. And The Still of the Night is great. Great drumming, great guitar solos. It's great everything. Here's the sleeve. And this fucking banger. On Metal Blade. Absolute banger. Cities. I wasn't planning on showing this either. It was just, I think what happened was I listened to it earlier and I just hadn't put it up yet. But it is what it is. It's in the video now, so get over it. 20 minutes long. Wow. Now I'm gonna get into the stuff that some may find cringe-worthy and some may not. So, Crocus, Headhunter. This is my favorite Crocus album. I didn't really care for anything else other than this. This is my original pressing on Artista. And a little bit about this one, the title track kind of reminds me of AC/DC and Judas Priest mixed together. I believe these guys are from Sweden. Screaming in the Night is one badass freaking ballad-y type song. Got one of my wife's hair, it's tickling my back of my neck. But I remember listening to, I bought this album because of the Skull and Crossbones, to be honest with you. And then when I listened to it, I love it. I love this freaking album. Russian Winter is another great one. Fucking awesome album right here. I can't remember what year I listened to this. I want to say about the time, I think about the time I was listening to Kiss and stuff like that. Probably about 4th or 5th grade is when I first got this album. Fucking killer. I didn't buy this copy till probably 86 or 87, I want to say. I think. I'm not sure what pressing this is. I believe this is the first press, but anyway, back to it. Crocus, Headhunter, fucking awesome album. Here's the cringeworthy stuff. Cinderella. I still love this album. I just seen this on Wax the other day and I almost bought it, but I decided not to. Long Cold Winter is an album. I've actually bought this on cassette first. I think I bought this CD actually in the 90s, but I bought the cassette originally with I think Iron Maiden, 7th of the Seventh Son. Probably about 1988, I want to say. Bought them at the same day, same time. They were in the shop cart at the same time, and still love this album to this day. I love that how it starts out. It just takes you to like the crossroads moment. It's just that blues, and it's fucking awesome. This is heavy blues. That's what this is, and glam metal. And what's cool about this, has the order form for night songs, and it shows the cassette. So I don't know if that's a record or what, but that's pretty cool to have that. Absolute banging album. I still love this album. But you know, like I said, that intro, Bad Seamstress Blues is the name of it. And then Coming Apart at the Seams, I think that's the song. Oh, Falling Apart at the Seams, another one. Gypsy Road, I love that. Of course, You Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. Famous ballad. And then my favorite song on this album is Coming Home. And absolute banger. I remember You Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone was always on the radio, and it seemed like it always played a Poison song or Lita Ford song or something like that right after it. Just fucking banger. Hopefully you guys are still with me. Another heavy metal album, Manowar, Kings of Metal. So when I first heard this album, I think shit, I don't remember what year I heard this first, but this is the first Manowar album I ever owned. I remember Wheels of Fire sounds really thrashy. It is a thrashy song for a heavy metal band or power metal band, whatever you want to call them. This one's on Artista. As far as I know, I believe this is the first press. I do not remember the year it was released, but I remember listening to this shit out of this fucking album over and over again back in the day, and I still love this album to this day. Man of War, Kings of Metal. What a banger. Next one up, I think this was released. When was this released? Does anybody know? This is something Metal Mickey. That's a guy I should have said in the beginning. Oh shit, it doesn't have a date. Anyway, this is the first pressing too. Metal Mickey's shown this on cassette. This is my CD copy I bought back in the day. I still love this album. Has that bluesy, sleazy, it's heavy, glam rock freaking album. A little bit of touch of Aerosmith, I guess, in the vocals. Slip of the Tongue is my favorite song on this album. And there's just so many good songs on this one. This album is a freaking banger. If you don't know it, I'd look it up. This is on Elektra. And still, I was just listening to this the other day and blown away by it again. And you just go back and revisit albums you haven't listened to in a long time from your childhood, and it just, the memories come flooding back. Then there's some albums that you're like, what the fuck did you like it for in the first place? But this one holds up. Still love it. Faster Pussycat, Wake Me When It's Over. My other favorite track on this is the very first song that I cannot sing. I can't see nothing. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, where there's a will, there's a way. I love that fucking song. And then there's one track, I think it's, oh, I can't see it. But it reminds me of, like, you know that scene of Cats with the hats playing pool and the bulldog smoking a cigar in the corner at a bar, and the cats start playing like jazz music. That's what that song reminds me of. I can't remember the name of it. But fantastic one. Also, House of Pain is a fucking killer ballad on this. Just love that. Just beautiful. Beautiful album. I guess I'm gonna show two Danger albums. They're both first presses. This is the debut by Danger. I don't know what it is about this band. I think this was released in 87 or 88. I can't remember exactly when. This one's on CBS. And it's poppy. It's like poppy heavy metal or glam metal. Vocals are awesome, on the par with what's his name from Warrant? I can't remember his name. And Bret Michaels. But love the fucking artwork to this album. This is my original copy from back in the day. And I love every song on it. Naughty Naughty is a really good freaking song. There's so many other ones. But I don't listen to this one as much as the other one. Their sophomore released, which is Screw It. And this album is a little bit heavier than that. It has a guitar solo in it that just is mind-boggling. Sure, it does have some like Def Leppard hysteria moments and a little bit of like Warrant's dirty, rotten, filthy, stinking rich kind of moments in it. But it has a bunch of freaking good songs on it. And it even has a rap song. And where is that? There's one, Get Your Shit Together, I think it's called. That fucking song is my favorite song on it, but I can't see the song titles. But look at that. Love that artwork. Danger, Screw It. And this one's definitely a first press. Oh, I can see these a little bit better here. There's one that's I still think about using a ballad. It's pretty fucking badass. Beat the Bullet. Is that the guitar solo? I can't remember. But look at that artwork. I love that. And this comes with the fold out. I'll make some Fellas in the extreme world, really jealous. Look at that fucking hair. Look at the absolute banger. Not for everybody, but for guys like me, this is fucking killer shit. Yep. Danger, danger, screw it. Second one up, George showed a Lizzie Borden album today from 1987, and I don't have that album, but I have Lizzie Borden's Master of Disguise. And this album, to be honest with you, this is on Metal Blade and Enigma. It took me a long time to get into it. I love that first album, the one that George shows. I can't remember the name of it. But this album right here has a higher production, more theatrical, I guess. And it took a long time to grow on me, but when it did, it really fucking did. I have to be in a certain mood to listen to this motherfucker. But it is a fucking killer album. Lizzie Borden, Master of Disguise. And I think I bought it thinking, what was that, Black Rose, that movie, The Roses or something. There's a movie from the 80s where Lizzie Borden's on and they do one of their songs. I can't remember the name of that movie. But absolute banger. Love the artwork. Killer fucking artwork. And then the last one I'm going to torture you all with is Firehouse, their debut. And I actually bought this CD with my Overkill CD, or Overkill cassette. Actually, I bought this on cassette first and bought Overkill's Horoscope on the same fucking day. How's that? And then later on I got the CD and I got this copy. And I mainly got this because it reminds me of an ex-girlfriend. But other than that, I love the guitar work on this. I love the vocals. This is a fucking banger. Glam. Late Glam, right before it fucking fizzled out. This is probably the last great Glam metal album. I don't know. All She Wrote's a killer one. Don't Treat Me Bad. Love of a Lifetime. That's a killer fucking ballad. And absolute banger. I listened to this one today and I forgot how damn well produced this album is and how well it sounded. It has that 90s sound. Plus, she got some knockers. Anyway, that is the video. So hopefully you guys made it this far. I know some of you have. Thank you. I will have a death metal collection update soon. Hopefully, I was thinking about showing my Queensryche collection. The other night I did show my Dio collection, but the video had music that I guess pissed YouTube off and they partially blocked it in other countries for some reason. It is what it is. But this is all fun. So thanks for hanging out with me and going back down memory lane. You all have a good one. Later.